pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Hutt,
Here.
Ryan,
Here.
Duff,
Here.
Meany,
Here.
Claiborne, here, Sneaky,
Here.
Newman,
Here. The game's over here. Just a kind of reminder again to make sure microphones are green when you're talking. Thank you. Any additions?
None tonight, thank you.
Perfect. We have approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion to approve. Second by O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, great. Correspondence and information. We have DTU be trimming trees, so watch out for them. Comcast is raising their prices. And then we have service and pricing list for Xfinity.
Motion to receive and file as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to receive and file by Duff, second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. As number 7, first call to the public. It's an opportunity for citizens to address the council on agenda items. Is there a motion to open?
Motion open.
Second.
Motion open in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, first call is open.
Motion to close.
We have a motion to close.
Second.
Who got that one? Brian, okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor to close?
Aye.
Oh, great. Consider approving the following consent agendas.
Motion to accept and approve as presented.
Motion by Duff,
Second.
second by Newman. Roll call, please.
Newman,
Yes.
Claiborne. Yes. Sneaky,
Yes.
Meany,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Nutt.
Yes. There's 9 board appointments. It's recommended that council appoint Craig Minnelletti and Bonnie Tupper to the zoning board for terms expiring 12/31/2028.
Motion to reappoint Craig Minnelletti and Bonnie Tupper to the zoning board of appeals.
Second.
We have a motion by Duff, second by Laybourne. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you guys for your service once again. Number 10, presentations. We have our Commerce Township Supervisor, Larry Gray, about the pathway.
Well, thank you for letting me come speak with you folks tonight. Let's talk to you about the pathways millage that we're looking to put on the November ballot in 2026. I did receive a couple of questions, so I'd like to kind of go over, answer some of the questions we had, and then open up for you folks to ask me some more, and I'll help out any way I can. So phase 1, we're looking to do a 10-year millage. The 10-year millage would be either 0.5 to 0.6 millage that would be on real and property tax. This would be over, as I mentioned, over a 10-year period. Again, this is a project that we're looking to get a starting point at, or artery system throughout the township and throughout Wolverine Lake, to have major connections going north and south and east and west. We would, if the millage passes, we would like to bond the millage, and we'd like to have these pathways installed within 36 to 48 months after the passage of the millage. This would, the process and how we would do this would all depend on how easements are accepted, and how easy different sections of the project could go. So in front of you, I did give you all the main pathways that we're looking at, arteries, as I call it. So we don't have an exact order how we're going to tackle that, but we will try to tackle them all at one time with those pathways. We would also like to, once this passes, is leverage grants from the state, federal government, and Southeast Michigan Coalition of Government, also known as SEMCOG, through TAMP grants. These funds will help us add additional extensions to these pathways and throughout the system. So what we're proposing, we're hoping that as we get more grants, we'll actually be able to extend or connect these arteries to other pathways throughout the village and throughout Commerce Township. Question arose about the pathway going up South Commerce Road to Ethel, and why not going all the way to Wabasso? Our engineer did a study on that, and it would actually be a negative if we were able to take the path all the way up to Wabasso of what the income would be coming from the tax base in the village of Wolverine Lake. We feel by taking this up to Ethel, this will allow residents to cross the street and use pathways and roadways to get to Hiram Sims Park in Wall Lake, and then be able to go up to Wolverine Drive, making Wolverine Lake about 90% walkable for all your residents in one fashion or another. All the pathways are planning on being in the right-of-way, the row. So within the road commission, we will pay for easements as we go through this. Hopefully there will be no land, no land contamination will be needed where we will need to force people to give us pass. The pass will be placed in recommended safe distances from the side of the road. Typically that's 15 to 20 feet. If we need to be moved closer, we'll definitely put safety measures in place for the pathway. During this process of Phase 1, both Wolverine Lake and Commerce can use our individual funds. I'm not sure, Commerce has pathway funds that we have set aside for pathways in Commerce. You folks are all part of Commerce. I'm not sure the village has pathways funds set aside or not, but we're more than welcome to use those funds to extend on the artery system that we're looking to move forward on this. And this actually also will give us an opportunity to look at Phase 2 if it ends up happening. Once again, Phase 1 is a 10-year millage, but we're looking to enhance that and move everything up to be completed within 4 months. We're currently working on an FAQ in creation of literature for this process. Mr. Gilliam attended our last Pathways Committee, and he will be continuing the next ones. You folks are more than happy to come and join our meetings. The next one is the next Tuesday, 16th at 3:30, and we'll have them every other Tuesday moving forward, starting after the holidays on January 6th. So that's pretty much the overview of where we're at right now. And so the questions that I did receive from Mr. Gilliam, is there any further questions on what we're looking to do here?
What was the rate again there? Drew?
We're looking at 0.5 to 0.6 mils. If we go 0.5 to 0.6 mils, that will be anywhere from $17.5 million to $20.5 million. And that is both Commerce Township and the village of Wolverine Lake. Without Wolverine Lake, we'd be looking at 6.5 and 19.8.
I had a question.
Yes.
You mentioned easements a couple of times in your presentation tonight. Is there a chance that an easement does not get approved and that would put a halt on a portion of this pathway plan?
Well, we ran into this previously with the last water line that we ran up Benston Road. We will work diligently to make sure that does not happen. If that happened, then we'd probably be looking at seizing the land through condemnation, sorry.
So it's not private property easements that we're talking about?
Well, the unique thing, so Commerce will be working with the easements, but we will have to work with Wolverine Lake because the path is going in the village, so we will be sending out, anything that happens in between, we have to go through Wolverine Lake to address the issues. So if it's in a road right away, it should be a pretty simple easement, but if it's private, and I apologize, I didn't look at how the easements are on South Commerce Road, but some folks actually own to the center road where there's no road right away, where that could be a little bit more challenging.
Larry, I think South Commerce, there's enough room where the road right away won't affect this. Now, Benstein, I
There's some, okay.
But the ones that are in Denstein are not in the village that would be affected. It's further south.
So just South Commerce.
So there's a chance we would have to condemn property if we chose from a village standpoint.
There's always a chance of that, yes.
Once we get to, if we did the Glengarry to Ethel connection, what's stage 2 for that?
Again, phase 2, I mean, we're looking at a 10-year millage. So within the first 10 years of this millage is we're looking to do these artery systems. Once the millage passes, that's going to open up a lot of doors for things, as I mentioned, through grants. So this might be something we'll be able to go to SEMCOG, to the federal government, or to the state to get a grant to move that pathway. I think one of the goals was to get that to at least Wabasso. So if you get to Wabasso, then the neighborhood could go up to Schenken and take Schenken down to the pathway there along South Commerce Road. So that would be the ultimate goal to get to Wabasso, but that would be in phase 2 as it is now, but we would definitely work for grants to get that process during these 10 years. And that would be a combination of both of us working with SEMCOG or State of Michigan or federal grants to try to get that done. And there's been, I don't know how many folks participate in SEMCOG, but there's been quite a bit of large grants process lately, talking $1.2 million, $5 million for pathways. And one thing they really look at is how to connect communities. So, looking to connect us to you to Wall Lake is something that will be very worthwhile.
I think they look favorably upon communities that are working together.
Correct.
Too. They encourage that, so.
Absolutely.
So on Helmsford, there's a connection between Schenken Road and Helmsford. There's like a walking path easement there. Did anybody look at bringing it down to, isn't there, Mike? Down to Helmsford and Schenken right there that connect them?
Yes.
Because we have a thing there. So if they could get it even down to Helmsford, that would be, it could run through Schenken and then down.
I apologize, I do not know that, but I will say the most expensive part to get it from Ethel to Wabasso is the swamp area on the curve there on South Commerce Road, because that would be
you would still have
100%
that, yeah.
boardwalk. Correct. That's probably three-quarters of the price of getting to where we're going to get into the next step.
That's too bad.
And I'm sure you folks are familiar with how expensive boardwalks are in lakes
And maintaining them.
and maintaining them. Is there any other questions? Well, we are currently working on the verbiage for the ballot. We have to have that in by April. Right now, we are working, we have 100 words that we can work with. So what I am asking is, on behalf of Commerce, is to have the buy-in of the Council of Wolverine Lake, in some sort of agreement that we can put Wolverine Lake on the ballot for November of 2026.
And just to be clear, Larry, our conversations and at the Pathways Committee too, what you're looking for is support from the village to put this on the ballot,
Correct.
not per se for the millage itself, just so everybody's clear on that. So, I mean, we'd obviously would be free to support the millage in the future if we wanted to do that, but I think that's to be fleshed out down the road. So,
Well, yeah, we're looking for Wolverine to support it and have your Wolverine Lake Village residents as part of it. So it would be a millage for Commerce Township and the Wolverine Lake Village, or the Village of Wolverine Lake.
I got one quick question on the cover sheet about the cost of all the paths, which you don't have from Glengarry to Ethel.
That's on there, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. The
Where
cost
is
is on there.
Yes, South Commerce Road to Glen,
Did I miss it?
yeah, it's $745,000.
There's no map. There's no
sorry.
map for it.
There's a map? Yeah.
No.
Oh, there's no map? Did I miss it?
No, it's,
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
I saw it.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah,
Maps on there.
it's like the third page.
Third page. I had seen it. 1, 2. So here's Glengarry. How
Yeah,
many?
the maps are here.
Okay, yeah,
If you don't have it, I can give you the pamphlet I have.
he's got it.
Hey, you got the map.
And then a
Front page
proposed.
by the
It's,
fifth one down.
what's the cost?
Front page,
Yeah.
fifth one down.
745.
Okay,
745.
thank you. I missed that. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem.
It was my bad.
You good? I guess if you guys would like to, look at it over another month or so, I'd be okay with that, but I was really hoping I would get some support tonight.
Did you say the pathway is going to run all the way from Hiram Sims Park?
No, well, the pathway will allow you to, from my understanding, looking at the maps, from the other Ethel street that comes out after the bend on South Commerce Road, you'll be able to use pathways and roadways to get to Hiram Sims Park.
Yes.
Correct,
Because that would be, yeah,
correct.
that's easy to get to,
Right.
across from Shaken too. A lot of people cross right there to
Right.
go, yeah.
Yeah, so again, just when we were looking at it, we're pricing that, just that connection will make for 90% of the residents of Wolverine Lake have a walkable area to get around the village and get to Wall Lake. And then, as mentioned previously, another part of this that benefits commerce in the village of Wolverine Lake is the path that we're going to put down Benstein Road from your existing pathway where it ends in McCoy all the way down to the Michigan Airline Trail.
So residents wouldn't have to cut over to Ladd Road necessarily
Correct.
to get down to the airline trail.
And you'd actually have
Be able to go straight down Benstein.
you'd actually have a true pathway instead of being on the side of the road.
Straight down. So basically, it's just up to us to, I think it's wise just to have it on the ballot. We just need to let the people decide and just need a motion to have it.
I'll make a motion that we accept the agreement between Commerce Township and Wolverine Lake to have the pathway improvement put onto the ballot in November 2026.
Second?
We have a motion by Duff to have it put on the ballot, and a second by O'Brien. Any discussion with that?
I'd like to hold off a month so I can get some back from residents a little bit, see, and go through this a little more detail, just because it was given to us today. So I'd like to hear from the people. I mean, I've been seeing complaints about millages and everything else, and I don't want people to think that we're trying to stack additional burdens on them that aren't well thought out and aren't really, that we can't comfortably express them. Yeah, this is really beneficial to both our municipality, our neighboring municipalities, and to the residents themselves.
And I would ask Mr. Duff if that does, I'm sorry, if that does happen, if you get questions, I would like for you to forward those to me before they're answered, just so we can make sure, or let's talk about it, so we're getting the right communication out to the residents.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And I gave my card to everybody last time I here. If you need it again, I have some with me. So,
Or you can forward questions to me and I can send them on to Larry too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever's more convenient, so.
yep.
I would second what Mark said. I would like some additional time. If I had to vote tonight, it would be a no for me because I just was presented with the answers that I asked about 2 months ago.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Just that we had put together some questions about 2 months ago, and we just got the answers tonight, which is
Oh,
great.
okay.
But I would need some additional time. So if I
Okay.
had to have an official vote tonight, it would be a no for me.
All right. Okay, and from now on then, either reach out to me directly or reach to David, and we'll communicate, open communication. That's how we work together. So, appreciate it. Thank you.
Motion on the table.
Yeah, we have a motion on the
Second.
table right now.
Or unless they want to amend
Maybe
it.
if I could just add one thing, particularly anybody that has specific questions or wants to get into the nitty-gritty, please attend the meeting on the 16th with
with Dave and with, we have a number of residents that are also on the Pathway Committee. But we can take you through all of the questions you have and I think make you feel more comfortable with the effect on the residents and how it'll work together. So that's the best place to get all the answers in one place.
George?
Or is before, if you're not able, then get your questions to me, and I can take those questions to the meeting on behalf of the village, so.
Is that 7 o'clock?
3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, 3:30.
Yeah,
In your office there?
at the Township Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at Township Hall in the Maple Room. And as George said, this is, we have residents that are part of this committee, so it's not Commerce Township driven. It's driven, we have 6 residents that are part of this, so.
Maple Room, when you go into the Township Hall, it's the first room on your right, as
Oh.
soon as you get through the double doors, so.
Well, we do have a motion. I know it's on the table, it was seconded, to put it on. So, need to vote on that to start,
Or you could table.
or we could table.
We can always have another motion later on. So I say vote.
We have a roll call, please. Remember, this is a motion to accept the proposal and put it on the ballot.
O'Brien?
No.
Jeremini?
No.
Kuznicki?
No.
McNutt?
No?
Dove?
Nope.
Newman?
No.
Claiborne? No.
Can we put that on the agenda for next meeting?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Larry, our next meeting will be on January 14th. So if we had a different answer for you at that time, that would work with your time frame.
Gives people a little more time to
Sure.
do some research that would like to do that research.
Dave, can we have the village put something on Facebook, linking the Commerce Township, just to make it more, give notification that the meeting is occurring? That way they have an opportunity to take it public in between now and then.
The
That'd be
Pathways
appropriate.
Committee meeting?
Yes. That'd be appropriate.
Yeah, if that's. Oh, I think what Aaron has asked if we could put something on it, either on our website or Facebook page about the Pathways Committee meeting, in case any residents have any questions. So,
I think I would rather have that take part possibly during like a board meeting. The meetings that we have are to talk about how to promote the pathway. I would not want the pathway meetings that we have to detour to, as I like to say, go down multiple rabbit holes. I would like to have, as I mentioned, we're working on FAQs. So to make sure that we're answering everybody the proper way with the proper answers. Because right now we're in that process, and this next meeting actually is to wrap up and sum up our communication and how we're going to put this out to the residents. So if maybe we could talk about January 6th, open it up for a FA, question. But I would like to say the 16th, maybe not, just let us wait till January 6th. Does that work?
Yeah, just give
Yes?
just give our public a time, then opportunity.
Absolutely. Yep.
If that's the better time, then that's the better time.
Doing it?
Just make everyone aware of it. Thank you.
Does that work? Okay, great. I appreciate it.
16th, maybe we'll have a definite set of communications that we could send out to the public to spark interest for that next meeting.
And I'm still waiting for your FAQs, so everybody else has sent me here, so.
Okay.
Okay, yours yet. I'm just joking. Anything else? I just want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you folks tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Larry, my only question for you is I want to know where you got your sweater, so.
That's great.
On the front doorstep. Yeah. Right, the front doorstep. All right, Takes us to the recommendations and updates from Mr. Powell.
Yes, thank you, Council. I have two items on the agenda tonight. The first of which is Councilman Jeremini pointed out that there were 3 roads that A&R seal coating had unpatched or crack sealed. Their routine is to go right up to where the budget allows them to stop, and then they typically stop. In this particular case, Mr. Gillum and Jennifer found that we had a little extra of cash that we could put towards the crack sealing program. It's an extremely important project because as that water drops through the cracks in the fall, it saturates the subgrade, and then you get the freeze-thaw cycle, and it actually makes those cracks break the asphalt away. So in this particular case, it was a very, very good opportunity to finish the roads. Remember, we did them in a clockwise rotation around the village this year. A&R was able to get in there within the next few days, finish those 3 roads up, and it has now been completed. And therefore, my letter of December 3rd stating that the A&R finished the roadways for $4,783.20 to complete all the roadway cracks sealing, and we're recommending that A&R be paid for that work.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Second. Motion approved by Duff, second by O'Brien. As presented, any discussions?
So I have some thoughts. So last meeting, we talked through this, and I had asked the question if we would be billed for additional work,
Yes,
and you said definitely not.
yes.
And should we hold a retainer? And they said, nope, we're all set.
And you're correct, and I was absolutely wrong because if they miss things along the way, they absolutely go back and correct that. In this particular case, I met with the A&R people, their managers and their owners, and they went right up to the budget amount for the village. So they did what was authorized. They didn't miss anything. They deliberately stopped because they hit the budget item, and therefore I was wrong in my presentation to you, my answers to you.
So would they not be reaching out to say, hey, Mike, by the way, we still have X amount of roads to finish. Do you have additional funds? How do you want us to move forward? Because I think you were under the assumption that everything was completed.
I was, and I start out with them in the morning, and I spot check them during the day. I did not go back afterwards, and my contact's been there for eons. His name's Rocky, and he usually reaches out to me, and he didn't. That's why it caught me off guard, and I was very pleased that I was able to reconnect A&R to the roads that they had not finished.
My concern, Mike, is we've asked you, I know I've asked you in the past, and others have asked you if we should increase the budget for crack sealing based on how important it is, especially relative to the cost of paving a road. And you've told us we need to.
Right.
And now we have 8,000 lineal feet of additional crack sealing that we had to do because, which is necessary, which I'm happy we did, but you know, do we even know how much we really need to seal, even with all the new paving we've done? And so it's just a matter of, are we, with as important as this is, are we putting enough attention to it to make sure that that we are budgeting appropriately, that we are doing the roads and to ensure they last as long as possible? I'll say this because this isn't the first year where Woodlawn and Terry and these roads were missed, whether they were missed previously by omission or by accident or by, again, hitting the budget limit. This was not the first time where I've walked them and seen it, that, you know, these weren't sealed. And so, you know, how often has this happened in the past where A&R is either running up to their limit or is missing roads and not communicating to you about that? So I'm a little concerned that, you know, we aren't budgeting enough and we're not paying enough attention to it. And AR is not communicating effectively about how far they're going, what they're getting done, and so that we can make better judgments on how much we should allocate at our budget sessions to make sure that we do crack seal everything that we need to.
My only response to that is that's why we changed the rotation of how we crack seal the road. So you say Terry Woodlawn and those were not done in the past. I know for a fact that they were done the year before because they would have been one of the first ones done. And so that's why we go back and forth to be able to make sure that we catch those roads. We just had a major paving program, so I did assume that we would have enough. We had enough last year to do it. The only way to make sure is at budget time, I would have to go around each crack and then assume that they didn't grow over the summertime to catch the total budget amount. And then we don't really go out for bids until the fall anyway. And so we wouldn't know until it was October, September, whether or not we had the budget nailed properly with the lineal footage of cracks. So it is a best guess for budgeting.
Would it be better to guess higher and then make a budget amendment to reduce it in June rather than be off and maybe not get roads crack sealed? I mean, because, again, like I said, this isn't the first time it's happened. So, yeah, we can always amend our budget for more or for less, but I'd rather we just budget so that we're confident that we're going to get everything and we're not 20% off on how much additional paving or sealing we need, rather than being short. And then I just happen to walk that area, so I catch it, and there just is literally just enough time before nature opened up on us to that we wouldn't be able to get that done. So just going forward, I mean, it makes sense, if we're going to budget and we're going to make an estimate of how much to spend, overestimate rather than under, and so that we aren't having that issue where it's, if Dave's got to make a quick judgment and Jen's got to check the budget because they've got 2 days to get it done. And just make sure that we're covered, we're safe there, especially with how valuable it is relative to the cost of a paving program that we can no longer fund simply from our gas taxes. We are having to dip into the general fund to do that. So let's make sure we can absolutely extend the lives of these roads as much as possible.
Yeah, council is the best judge as to whether or not to increase the budget a little bit. If council remembers, this year we didn't have really any paving program either. So normally we would be paving roadways that would not need crack sealing. This year we did not pave roads, so it actually added to the paving. Added to the crack sealing program. So it was a perfect storm there, and we ended up being short.
Do you think that, like you said, it's our recommendation to increase the budget or not for it, but we do rely on you for that guidance, that direction, so we know. Because, I'm not a road person, I'm not an engineer. So that's kind of look to you for that information.
I think it would be certainly wise if council wanted to do that and then allow us to go through and actually measure the crack sealing necessary prior to going out for bids, and then I could report back to council and you could modify that budget then. Or we could just accept a lineal footage amount and then pay what was actually done, and then those funds could be carried over to next year that weren't used.
Well, I'm happy to increase the budget by approximately $4,000 for this upcoming year, given that we're not going to be paving again next year.
Right.
So that will maybe accommodate that, and I could even go as much as 5,000 more. And then I'll be bringing that to the council in the spring, so.
That sounds like a great idea.
Motion to accept that payment in a second. Roll call.
Jeremini,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Kuznicki,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Claiborne,
Yes.
This next item, and I was kind of hoping maybe Supervisor Gray would maybe stay through this one. It's been quite a while since the village has gone out for a public bid for the installation of grinder pumps and sanitary sewers. In this particular case, and quite frankly, we've had some challenges by residents and some property owners as to whether or not C&E was the only contractor that they could use to install their grinder pumps. It's been the village policy that no, other contractors can be used to install grinder pumps and sewer leads or water leads into homes. However, it's been our experience that C&E has in fact publicly bid that work here in Commerce Township, and they are typically the lowest bidder anytime they have publicly bid it. Most of the time, if a property owner has a contractor that they'd like to use instead of C&E, who is, again, the village's low bidder, the contractor looks at the prices that we give the homeowner, and the contractor says, we can't beat that price. Let C&E do it. That being said, this year, Commerce Township did in fact go out for bids. They received 2 bids. The second bidder was substantially higher than C&E. Therefore, as the village is part of Commerce Township, C&E has agreed to allow the village to piggyback onto the Commerce Township public bid. And I have presented the cost increases that C&E became low bidder on here in Commerce Township. And it's my recommendation that the village of Wolverine Lake adopt the publicly bid improvements or the grinder pump installations and sewer connection fees that Commerce Township has accepted. In reality, we don't have a lot of option. We could go out for bids again, but the next lowest bidder that Commerce Township received was about 25% higher than C&E, and just didn't have the experience either. I also wanted to point out that those of you that have maybe visited some of C&E's work here in the village, you know that the village residents, the properties are fairly small, fairly thin. The buildings go right within property lines, just feed off property lines. And so they have worked very, very hard in the village to accommodate the extraordinary installation issues. And I've been very, very pleased with C&E over the years. And so I could certainly answer any questions. I'm not doing the work, so I can't justify the rates increases. They did, and they were publicly bid. But I could certainly answer any questions that you might have on a technical basis.
I make a motion that we accept the price increase for grinder pump installation and piggyback on the open bids that Commerce Township got back, using C&E as the primary contractor.
Second.
A motion by Duff, second by Newman to accept. Any discussion?
I just have a housekeeping question. Do we currently have a special assessment sign up for residents?
We have a waiting list, but we do not have an open SAD, no.
Just wondering if there was if we wanted to promote that through the end of the year to get that pricing held for residents.
Well, at this point, I don't think there's any way we could get that done. I mean, we're at, I think the waiting list has, I want to say maybe 12 properties on it. And the rule of thumb has been we need ballpark about 30 to initially start the process, because inevitably some of the people drop out of the process.
Sure.
And we still have to have a certain number to justify the costs that are built into the program, so.
It's too bad.
Just for education for me, Mike, on the list of quotes, it has 3 different quotes for the different tap levels. What are the differences in those? 'Cause you have
When you say the different
it says tap less than 6 inches, force main sewer,
oh,
tap 6 inch plus DI, force main, and then tap 6 inches plus HDPE.
yes, if there is if the sanitary sewer that the village, that C&E taps is larger than 6 inch, there's a higher cost to that. Not only is it deeper, but it's also a much more costly saddle that goes around that, and then they tie into that. So they have prices for mains that are smaller and larger than 6 inch, and then you can see the middle one there. We have some ductile iron main that we have to tie into here along Glengarry Road, and so that's a cost as well. So they had been breaking even or losing money on Commerce's and the village projects. So they worked hard to try to make it to where it was going to be fair for them and fair for the village. I do want to point out certainly that we have to look out for the village residents. This is a pass-through cost, of course. When somebody comes in and wants to tie into the sanitary sewer, they have to submit the cost to the village, that we hold those costs, and then pay Commerce Township out of those escrow funds.
So a motion and second to accept. And a roll call, please.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Nutt,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Laborn,
Yes.
Huff,
Yes.
Kuznicki,
Yes.
Thank you, council, very much.
I don't think we have any public hearings.
Correct, none tonight.
New business, citizen of the 2025 Citizen of the Year nomination process.
Council, I had this on the agenda just to get your blessings as to the procedure for the 2025 Citizen of the Year nomination process. This is essentially the same process that we followed in the past based upon a resolution that was approved by council a number of years ago. We've developed the nominating form and the information cover sheet. If council is comfortable with the information in the form, then we'll go ahead and we'll get the word out. We'll put this on the website. We'll send out an email blast. We'll get it on our Facebook page and so on and so on. In short, we'll be accepting nominations until next Wednesday, or I'm sorry, Wednesday, January 7th at, actually, that's not correct.
Should it be the following?
It would be the 14th. It would be the day of our next council meeting. So there's one correction. But nominations will be accepted until January 14th at 5 o'clock, which would be the night of the next council meeting. And then I would gather those nominations. Then after the council meeting, then we'd have an administrative committee meeting to review the nominations. The administrative committee then would, if they saw appropriate, would then offer a recommendation to council as to who should be awarded Citizen of the Year, and that would actually be on the council agenda in February. So that's the process we'll follow if council is comfortable with that. So I don't know that we need a motion to that effect, but if the consensus is that council is comfortable, then we'll move forward.
Move forward. Yeah. Thank you.
With the one correction on the date.
14th. Yep.
I just was wondering, is it necessary with the fact that we don't get a ton of nominations to have it go before admin? I mean, if we had 20 nominations or 15, that would make a lot of sense to filter it out. But we usually get 1 to 3. And I don't know if it's necessary to have the whole council can't just make that determination.
I mean, that's council's call. I mean, we do have a policy on the books right now that would go through admin. If council were to basically bypass and just put nominations on the agenda in February, we can do that. But we'll need a motion from council to that effect before we can make that change.
I'd make a motion that we put the nominations on the agenda for February.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Claiborne, a second by Giannini to put the nominations on the agenda. We'll bypass the admin. Any discussions?
Is that just for the upcoming year, or is that going to be in effect going forward?
As far as I'm,
It's just a one-time?
yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's one time. So unless motioned otherwise. Any other discussion?
I mean, I think it's such like a personal thing, right? We're nominating one of our citizens. Like, why wouldn't we want all of council to have those discussions and be able to weigh in? I mean, it should be a happy discussion talking about hopefully more than one nominee. But I think it's important that we're all involved in something like that. I think moving forward, why wouldn't we have it every year like that? Like Mark said, unless we're getting 20 nominations, which certainly at that point, let's make sure that we're using our time effectively. But if we have 3 people or 3 entities that are being nominated, why wouldn't we want to do that as a council as a whole?
And if it continues that way, then we would just make the motion every year. Because if it does get to 19 or 20, to do it all amongst all of us would take all evening.
Sure.
But if we approve this motion right now, if we do magically get 30 candidates, we'll be here talking about it. It will not go to the admin committee if we approve this motion.
Unless we
So-
make a motion to put it back to the admin committee,
Yeah, unless you flip it back. So.
right? I mean, I don't know. I don't see, I mean, I don't foresee that happening.
I don't
think
either.
it's worth the risk.
I don't think it's an issue. I just want to be clear what we're voting on.
So I'll friendly my motion that it would be moving forward, that it would just be up to council and not the admin committee.
So that'd be a council meeting or work session?
Council meeting.
With less than 5 applicants.
We do get.
I say you put a number on it, I think.
We
Less than
could, we would
5
just motion to defer it and send it back to admin.
Yeah, that's
It's not
good
a-
number.
Less than 5 applicants.
Okay, so what's the,
All right, so you want to tidy your motion up so we actually know what it is?
Sure. So I would like to make a motion that we put the Citizen of the Year nomination into the council agenda for February, as long as there are 5 or less applicants. And I would like to make that motion for every year moving forward.
I'll second.
okay, there's a motion, the second by Claiborne, second by Giannini. Any discussions? We have a roll call, please.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Nut,
Yeah.
Newman,
No.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Claiborne,
Yes.
Woznicki,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
All right.
Would that be January or February, though? If you get them by January,
That's just when they're due.
it doesn't give us any time to think about it, does it?
No, because
Yeah.
the cutoff would be at 5 o'clock before a 7 o'clock meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
All right, takes us to be the water and sewer system operation and maintenance. Looks like we're going out for bid for Commerce Township.
Council, there was an updated memo that I left for you at the table tonight, dated today, just entitled Sewer System Operation and Maintenance. I apologize for the late memo, but I didn't actually get a draft of an agreement from the Water Resource Commissioner's office until yesterday morning. And then I had some questions that led to some follow-up conversation yesterday afternoon with legal counsel for the WRC, so I wasn't able to get this information out to you. So it probably would be best if I tried to provide a little bit of framework, and some of this we've talked about before. And a lot of it involves Commerce Township. Unfortunately, Mr. Weber, one of the trustees from Commerce Township, is still in the audience, so if I misspeak, please, George, feel free to jump up and correct me. But in very general terms, I think everybody here at the table is aware that the landscape is changing in Oakland County in terms of and the member communities, townships, village, cities, whatever you are. The landscape has been changing over the last couple of years. And specifically, in terms of what Commerce Township has done, there's been a long-standing relationship with the Water Resource Commissioner's Office to provide operation and maintenance on the township sewer system. Because of concerns with rising costs and other aspects of the contract that the county had proposed for the township going forward, the township chose to go out to bid, not only for its sewer system, but also for maintenance, operations, maintenance, and management of its water system as well. Now, again, keep in mind, I'm going to just take a step back again. When we talk about water, remember that the village is kind of a hodgepodge or a mishmash, because we have a number of property owners that are on a private well. So their water is their own business, basically. We have some properties that are on one of two community wells, Helmsford and Penny Lake. So I'm sorry, Laguna and Penny Lake. Then we also have properties that are served by city water. And that can either be through the City of Walled Lake system, which comes through GLEWA, the Great Lakes Water Authority, and that's over in the Helmsford area because of groundwater contamination issues a number of years ago. In addition, there's another part of the village, primarily on the north part, where residents receive their city water through Commerce Township system, which again originates with and comes through GLEWA. So we're a little bit of a mishmash here, a hodgepodge. So my understanding, based upon the communications that I've had with the township, and then also with the contractor that the township is proposing to bring in to do, at this point in time, operation and maintenance on its sewer system, water system, and then going forward, eventually, to do work on its water system as well. Fleece and Vanderbrink, or F&V, is the abbreviation for them. Effective as of next week on the 15th, Fleece and Vanderbrink, F&V, will be doing all operations and maintenance. They will basically be responsible for the county, for the township's sewer system, sanitary sewer system. The water system right now, again, as I understand, Commerce is in favor of switching that system over to F&V. And actually, next week, F&V will be assuming responsibility for operation and maintenance of the township's water system. But it got complicated because in addition to just operation and maintenance on the system, there is also all the billing that goes along with the water system, and also the SCADA, which is the use of equipment and computers to monitor performance. That's all compiled by computer and then communicated to individuals. And I don't know, Mike, you maybe understand what SCADA means more than I do. But anyway, it's a lot of the technological backup that goes along with it. Commerce is going to have to develop its own software to do the billing and all the SCADA services. So at this point in time, for the township's water system, the WRC is going to continue to provide those services until the end of next September. So again, we're kind of talking a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle, and that's where it took me a while to get my arms around it. So again, in terms of the sanitary sewer system in the township, F&V is going to take that over. In terms of the water system for the township, F&V is going to take some of it over, but for another 9 months or so, the WRC is going to continue to do the SCADA work in the billing. And then in terms of the Walled Lake system, Walled Lake is still tied to the WRC. So the relationship between the city of Walled Lake and the WRC at this point in time is not going to change. So that's going to continue as it has in the past. So, well, where does the village fall into all this? And, I've had conversation with Mike Powell, with Andy Stone, what we're looking at trying to figure out now, what is going to be the best fit and best outcome for the village systems in the sanitary sewer system and things like that. We've had discussion with F&V. We had a Zoom meeting with them a couple weeks ago. To be honest, they've been so busy with what they're getting their arms around at the township that they really haven't had a chance to put together any kind of proposal or outline of services or anything like that for us to review. So given the fact that they're going to be taking over the township's system next week, the township sewer system, the question becomes, well, what about the village's sewer system? Because F&V is not ready to take that over yet. We're not sure that we want them to take that over at this point in time. I mean, there are some arguments that you can make that it makes sense for F&V to service our sanitary sewer system, since they're already going to be servicing the township's sanitary sewer system, because we're right in the middle. I mean, logically, it makes sense to me, but I'm not an engineer. So, I mean, that's one of the things that we're looking at. So, short term, the question becomes, well, what happens with our sanitary sewer system? The WRC has said that they will be willing to continue to service our sanitary sewer system if we want them to, but I have some of the same concerns that Commerce did early on about what kind of terms the county is going to have for us in terms of a contract, what the cost is going to be going forward. So really, we need more time to look at what all of our options are. But we have to do something short term, because as of next week, F&V is taken over in the township, and the WRC needs to know what to do. So what you have in front of you tonight, again, for sanitary sewer purposes, is this memorandum of agreement, which was prepared by the WRC. I've reviewed it. I sent it over for Jennifer to take a look at. I think legally it's acceptable as to form. There are some things, there are some clear, like drop dead dates. This basically buys us another 3.5 months to look into what we want to do. So this memorandum would allow for the WRC to continue to perform operation and maintenance on our sanitary sewer system through the end of March. In terms of water, again, as of next week, F&V is taking over the township's water system, city water system. So if any of our residents have problems, any of our residents that are receiving water through the Commerce Township system have problems with that system, we're going to need to reach out to F&V. If any of our residents who are serviced by city water through the City of Walled Lake system have problems, we'll have to reach out to the WRC. So I don't know. I hope that makes sense to you. Like I said, it took me a while to kind of put all these pieces together. But the long and short of it is, what I'm asking you to do tonight is to approve the proposed memorandum with the WRC for them to continue to provide operation maintenance services on our sanitary sewer system through the end of March next year, to give us the time whether or not we want to stay with the WRC or if we want to move forward with F&V. The other advantage too is, to be perfectly honest, is if we can put off that decision for a little while, we can see how things are working out between F&V and the township. Because if there are problems, then maybe we want to think about looking back at the WRC. But if F&V is killing it at the township, then maybe we really need to think about moving in that direction. So, but again, I would ask tonight that you approve the MOU extending service by the WRC through the end of next March. If you have questions, I can try to answer those.
Make a motion that we accept the memorandum as presented.
Second. Motion by Duff, second by Newman to accept as presented. Any discussions?
I might suggest
Turn your microphone on for me.
that there's, oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I might suggest that David's office, the village, continue to work with the WRC to try to pin down what the costs going forward might be, because they're going to have to invoice the village independent of Commerce Township. That's why I even point this out. We're going through the same thing in White Lake. White Lake provides our sewage to Commerce Township. Commerce Township treats it, transports it. We're going through the same issues. We're a little bit ahead of the village in that WRC is given the price of $750,000 to continue operating the White Lake Township sanitary sewer, which is high, but it also takes into account that we're not intermingling monies that we send to Commerce Township and to WRC, so the relationship between all the organizations get fairly complicated. David's going to have to continue working with WRC in order to determine what the actual bills are going to be from WRC, since they're not going to be invoicing Commerce anymore. So I'm in total agreement with the extending it out, but knowing that the details, devil's in the details.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of work to do on the administrative end after the first of the year.
Yep.
So.
Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Nutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Dove,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Claiborne,
Yes.
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, council.
Brings us to C, request for easement for 1348 Lakeview. This is a request for a well placement.
Council, we received first a call, and then I had conversation, and then an email from Jamie Davis, who lives at 1348 Lakeview, who is stepping up to the podium right here. Jamie has asked that the village consider granting him an easement for the placement of a well in the public right-of-way in his driveway adjacent to his home. His driveway actually extends into the public right-of-way there. Jamie's here to answer any questions that the village may have. The bottom line is, and again, Jamie, jump in if I mischaracterize any of this, his existing well is located very close to his home. And he's been consulting with a well contractor. He's also, as you can see looking through the packet, he's also gotten all the approvals and the permits that he needs from the health department to sink a new well. And their conclusion was that a location as close to the existing well is his best bet. His contractor has some concerns because it is so close to his home that it might do some damage to the foundation or to the home. So that is their first choice, is to put the well in as close to the existing well as possible on his property.
Which is the green dot in the picture that I think you have.
And if his contractor is able to do that, then he won't actually need the easement. Then this becomes basically a kind gesture on the village's part for one of its residents. On the other hand, if when his contractor rolls up his sleeves and gets into it, his contractor says, you know, I can't put it on your property, it's going to be too close to your house, then they are going to want to sink the new well within the public right-of-way in part of his gravel driveway. So this
over that blue line where the green dot is, where we're.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to open.
Motion open.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Nope, Jamie, if you up here.
We're just
Yeah.
open up to a lot of the discussion. That's,
Oh, okay.
It's just, yeah, no, here.
There's another protocol.
Yeah, that's right. So the green dot's the proposed, right?
Yep, the one approved by county.
Okay. Unless have any other questions?
And the thinking here is that by coming to us now, Jamie will have Plan A and Plan B, and he'll try to go forward with his contractor with Plan A. But if for some reason Plan A doesn't work out, then he has Plan B lined up, so he doesn't have to have the contractor stop work and wait and have to come back and go through the entire easement process. Plus, his existing well is failing, which is the problem, and who knows, he might run out of water if he has to come back in front of us.
The reason the green spot is, you can see in the triangle on the lower right, there's a tree there, and then there's a DTE power that runs under my, not gravel driveway, I guess asphalt driveway. And then on the side of my house where I share with the neighbor, the property line close there, I have underground DTE wires, and then I have my septic tank back there that I'm on the SAD and will connect to the sewer eventually, and it'll have to go there as well. So very complicated, small plot.
Well, this is just a backup just in case, if necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Preemptive.
As I indicated in the memo, the Health Division is all on board with what we're talking about doing here, either way, so.
Mike, is any last minute issues? Mr. Powell,
I'm sorry.
you have any last minute issues you can see with this?
No, I've been involved in this as well, and I've talked to the homeowner and the county and to the village, certainly.
Microphone, Mike, please. Sorry.
They did point out that the neighbor's grinder pump comes down that same property line, and so that's the right location for their future sewer line as well. So he's been between a rock and a hard place. There's no other alternative. It's also a very unique right-of-way issue. That's a cul-de-sac dimensions there. That's kind of a circular right-of-way that goes all the way back up towards their house. And so if we could actually modify the right-of-way if necessary, but this is the best way to do it, just grant an easement as he needs.
Thank you.
Motion to close discussion, open.
Second.
Motion to motion to close and a second, all in favor?
And that we accept the easement proposal as presented.
Second.
We have motion to accept the easement and a second. We have any other discussion on it? We already had it. Good. Roll call, please.
Newman?
Yes.
Claiborne?
Yes.
Kuznicki?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Peacock?
Yes.
Well, thank you.
You got it.
So Jamie, what I'll need you to do is to keep in touch with me. And then if it turns out that your contractor can't do the work on your property and you're gonna need the easement, let me know as soon as you can, and then we'll get the wheels turning on our side.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And just to Penny Lake Pump Inspection.
Counselor, our DPW maintenance leader, Andy Stone, had asked me to put this on the agenda to get your approval. He is noted, and our Brown Drilling and Water Treatment, which does the pump maintenance for us over at the Penny Lake Pump House, has indicated that there appears to be some kind of a problem with the pump over there, that it's running a lot longer when they do testing on it. So Andy has gotten a quote from Brown to go in and actually pull the main pump out and examine it. The estimate of the cost for that is $8,425. Andy is suspecting that there may be a problem in the drop pipe. And drop pipe, and the reason I know what that is because right after we moved into our house, I had the exact same problem in my house. Our well pump was running all the time. And so I had to hire somebody to come out, and when they pulled the pump out of the ground, the drop pipe, which is the one that sucks the water up, had a hole in the side of it. So as it was sucking water out, water was going right back out the hole and cycling like this. So the pump, our pump tank would never completely fill up. So bad for the pump, more electric bill for Dave. So we went ahead and had the repairs made. So that's Andy's best guess here, but we won't know for sure until Brown actually goes in and pulls out the primary pump. This is a good time of year to do it because the demand on the system is relatively low. And as I indicated in here, Andy has said that the submersible pump in the pump house will be able to keep up with demand as long as it takes. As I indicated, Brown has said they can come out the week of the 15th. So we'll get this going next week. Hopefully it'll be a relatively easy and short repair, but before there is any work done above and beyond this 8425, they will let us know and they'll give us a firm price. So I would recommend approval of the resolution contained in my memo dated December 5th.
Motion to approve the memorandum, not to exceed 8425 to Brown well, or Brown Drilling and Water Treatment.
Second.
Second by Newman to approve as presented for 8425. I
just had a question. It said that it was rebuilt within the last year or two. Do you know how old the system was before that?
The pump itself is pretty old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one should last if they're putting a new one in.
Depending what we have to do to it, yeah. I mean, as indicated, worst case scenario, a brand new pump would be between 10 and 15, but we're hoping it'll be something less than that.
This is more for the inspection to find out what's really going on with
This
it.
is for the diagnosis.
This is
really.
diagnosis,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
It's not for any fix.
No repairs.
Will the residents be without water?
I'm sorry?
Will the residents be without water?
No, the submersible pump, the backup pump. When the pumps run over there, they alternate.
Okay.
Because we want to make sure that both pumps are working properly. And in a case like this, when the primary or the main pump is down, the submersible will do all the work. But given it's this time of year, there isn't a lot of demand. Andy said that the submersible pump can handle the load.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. Could have roll call, please?
O'Brien,
Yes.
Tierney,
Yes.
Kazmicki,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Laborn.
Yes.
Thank you.
So topic for December 24th, 2025 work session.
Motion to forgo. Merry Christmas.
Motion for a go. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ho, ho, ho.
Thank you, Council.
Pending business. Anything like pump house water quality?
This is something that we have been discussing, and council had asked that it be on the agenda next month, and it will be, and I've already talked with Mr. Stone, and he started to gather some of the additional background information he needs, so.
And we have our tree inventory update.
That will also be on the agenda for next month.
And our audit presentation, Raina.
Raina was in today. She and Jennifer did a lot of work. They're going to have a part of one day next week to hopefully finish up the audit. So I'm hoping that she'll have it in written form for us at that same meeting in January too. But it's work in progress and we haven't seen any issues or problems so far.
Brings us second call to the public.
Make a motion, Al.
Second.
Opportunity for citizens to address council regarding village business, and we have a motion to open, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, second call is open. Everybody and everybody.
Hello, Council. Edward Kale, 2340 Ventura Drive. October, I spoke to Mr. Gillum about the village getting a universal sticker for non-solicitation because this past October, I had a confrontation with a solicitor who come up my driveway and I said I wasn't interested. He got confrontational. How do you know you're not interested? You don't know what I'm selling. And that should be enough if I say I'm not interested. And by the way, I do have a sticker that does say no soliciting. Well, anyways, he went on his way. But the way he came up that driveway that day, you know, up until about 2 years ago, I'd have put him on the ground myself. But now I can't do that, okay? But that wasn't the end of it. Later on that evening, 6:30, 6:45, I hear the doorbell ring. I got food on the grill in the back porch. It's him. You know, I don't know. And I told him, I said, I told you before, I'm not interested in what you're selling. And by the way, I've got a no soliciting sticker there, or my own. And then he left, okay? He had no badge on. I called the village the next day and spoke to Tabitha. She kind of dismissed it And then I got to thinking about it, and I started to get a little irritated. So I called back, and then she put me through to Mr. Gillum, and I told Mr. Gillum about the situation. So what I'd like to propose to the village, when I lived in Dearborn, Dearborn had a universal sticker that went on our storm door or our entry door or next to the door. And the solicitors knew that when they applied for a license to solicit, that was part of this, on their signature, that they would not go to those homes that had those stickers for non-soliciting, okay? And that's what I'd like to propose to the village, is that we do that. Don't think it's gonna take any big mills to get like the stickers that say compost, not that big, but there was a little green sticker about that large. And I think when the people apply for the license, if that's part of the application process, that they agree to do that they should know better than to go to those homes. And that's what I'd like. You did say you were going to send an email to the council in the response.
You did submit an email to me, and that was in correspondence at last month's council packet. If you consider, in fact, we had some brief discussion at last month's council meeting about that correspondence.
And so I'd like to know, what do I have to do to help push this through, or will the council take it from here?
Do you know if that person had a permit? Did that person have a permit?
Well, I don't know. He didn't have a badge.
He didn't have a badge, so, yeah, I don't know.
Tabitha was a little bit dismissive of me when I called, so I don't know. Did see the person later on, even later on that evening when I was leaving the house after I ate my dinner, okay? He was still in the neighborhood and it was dark out. Now, this was October, probably the 18th or 19th of October. I forget exactly what day it was. But that's kind of odd to still be in the neighborhood at that time when it's dark out, you know, and it just soured me a little bit. And, you know, I'm getting older. I don't want to, you know, have the garage door open. I might be inside the house. I don't want some goofball coming in, knocking on my door. You know, they should know better. I just, you know, and this about it being a freedom of information, I'm not buying that one, because we have the National Do Not Call Protection Act, although that's abused, but at least, I don't know, I just think this would be something simple to be taken care of.
The conversation that Mr. Kale and I had, I think what he's referring to, had to do with the nature of the solicitation. It's and Jennifer, you can expound on this if you want. But I mean, there's a difference between someone that comes to the door and wants to spread the word with you. The Jehovah's Witness, for example, not throwing them under the bus, but they come to my house and they leave the flyers in the door if we're not home, as opposed to someone that comes to my door and wants to sell me windows and siding and things like that. So the rules that apply are different. What we can require of them, those two different groups, is different under the law. So, and we do require a permit for commercial solicitation. So, I mean, I'll follow whatever lead council wants to provide. I guess the only comment I would make is, regardless whatever kind of regulations, if we have a sticker, that's fine, but ultimately what's going to happen is the homeowner needs to call the police when there's a problem. I mean, I have a no solicitation sign in front of the sidewalk as you come around the corner going up to my house. If somebody comes up, and there was a kid that came up one day and tried to convince me that I needed to have my house treated for insects. I pointed to the sign and I said, "Hit the bricks, pal." And he did. But if he hadn't, I would have called the police. So ultimately, that's whatever kind of framework we put in place, it's going to fall on the homeowner to make the call. So
I'll take the Jehovah's Witness, because I'd try to convert them. Kiddingly. But I just think any solicitation, if I don't want it, I think there should be a universal sticker that people should comply with.
So if I could, from a legal perspective, I don't know when you lived in Dearborn, but this is a kind of law, freedom of speech, First Amendment kind of stuff that changes all the time, and it just gets more open right, in favor of people being able to do that. So I wouldn't recommend the village having a universal sticker simply because the village supplying that, even if it's not promoting use of it, it's still using village funds to put together a sticker that people could prohibit solicitation on their property. So what I would suggest maybe is if village council wants to consider looking at the solicitation ordinance, so that in the ordinance itself, and maybe even on the application, it references that if a homeowner has a no solicitation sticker and they're asked to leave or they violate that because they have a no solicitation sticker, then that would be grounds for revocation of their license that they have to solicit or peddle in the village. But just as the administrator had just suggested, in those situations, what you can do is say, you're supposed to register your name as a solicitor with the village. What is it? And call the police department with the name of the person. So.
Well, that's it. He didn't have his.
Right. Ask him.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
When I ran into him later that evening, and then he just took off.
Right.
So they're supposed to wear the badge.
And that's when you just call the police department. And,
They're supposed to have a copy of their permit.
Right.
It's been approved by the village on them to show you as well.
On a lanyard around their neck.
I don't know about the identification, but if you want to show, they're supposed to have, like if we're supposed to encounter them, then they have to have a copy of their permit that's been approved by the village on their person. Otherwise, they're in violation. But any type of issue, whether they're refusing to leave your home or we can't enforce your sign. We can enforce an ordinance village. Anytime there's an issue you're having with a solicitor, please call us directly and we will come right out to you and address the issue right away. Because as you said, you actually called the village the next day, so we have a better opportunity of just approaching them people and just kind of taking care of that situation. Just kind of get really quick if you call us when it's actually happening. So. And we're pretty good with it. But we try and a lot of times people they come in and they have an ordinance or they have a permit because they think they're in Commerce Township. No, it's not. It's got to be specific toward the village, and if they don't have that, then that's something that we can enforce.
Yeah, and that's why I'm recommending possibly looking at an ordinance amendment and a change to the application, because like the chief just said, the police department can't enforce a private sign, but if the ordinance says, hey, if there is a private sign on that property and you violate that, you're going to be in trouble with revocation of your permit. So
What would it take to change that ordinance?
I don't know if he'd want to send that to committee or if council just wants us to look at that.
Is it costly? Legal fees?
Oh, it's just legal fees, but it's just an ordinance amendment. It's really just changing probably a couple sections of it, so it's nothing costly, but.
All in favor?
Yeah, that would be my only suggestion. I would not recommend a universal sticker of whatever kind you may have experienced in the past.
Would it change, an amendment to the ordinance?
That's what I would recommend.
That from here, or?
But that's up to village council if they want to look at the solicitation ordinance or.
Will that come up the next village council meeting?
Could come up right now.
I agree with the gentleman. We've had several people come to our house. And it does scare me as well, because my husband's quite a bit older than I am. And when you get older, he's unsure on a lot of things. And doggone well that, and you read articles in the paper, and, they prey on people like that. So, I mean, I would definitely like to follow up on what Jennifer says, and let's look at changing our ordinance.
And that's not unheard of. All of my communities and communities that I've worked with have to look at their peddling and soliciting ordinances pretty frequently because the laws change so much, but also people get really creative with their peddling and soliciting and working around the system. So,
all in favor?
We need is a
So I'll
Let
make-
me make a motion? I'd make a motion that we look into updating our codes to make it harder for people to solicit when you have a no soliciting sign.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Can we direct it to have our administrator and our attorney look into
Look
the
into that.
solicitation ordinance and have them report back at the next meeting? Okay. Motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else?
The next meeting, we'll have a...
Yeah, that'll be an agenda item, and we can provide an update for council.
Motion to close?
Second.
Motion to close in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Liaison reports, Parks and Rec. Marcus.
Another busy month for Park and Rec. We have coming up this Saturday, Snacks with Santa. I think there are still a few spots available if anybody's interested in signing up for that. It will be incredibly cold that day, so bundle up if you do come. And we will be collecting peanut butter jelly at that event as long as the drive is going on right now, or you can drop it off upstairs in the office. And the deadline for that is Monday. We just had the blood drive this past Monday. We hit our target of 13 on the button. Next blood drive is February 3rd from 2 to 6:30 p.m. And the target for that one will be 15 donations. Holiday decorating contest, the deadline for that is December 12th at 1 p.m. So get your entries in for that, and then Park and Rec will be checking out the houses and voting that on our Monday meeting. Letters to Santa is going on right now, so get those letters in at the mailbox right upstairs there outside, and you will get your kid will get a great letter back. We had a little discussion about the community garden and getting some input from Veterans Committee and Ron, who knows all about that stuff. We were thinking that the best spot to probably put it would be off the parking lot right at the front there, so that if we ever do, that way it's balanced, and if we ever did sink a well in that area, everything would be equidistant, and it would work out well. So as we get further along on that, and as spring approaches, make sure to talk to Carmine and everything, and see how that works for him. And then for the Veterans Memorial Committee, we had the cables replaced on all the flagpoles, and that has made a massive difference in being able to raise and lower the flags, especially with all we've had going on over the last month or so. And just as a side note, thank you to Fred and everybody else on the board who's been shoveling the memorial, keeping it clean. And yeah, that's about it.
Mark?
I They had one case last month. I was not in attendance of the meeting, and I don't believe there's a meeting this month.
Water management.
No meeting held, Mr. President.
Planning.
No meeting held, Mr. President.
Chief.
Okay, we partnered with several other agencies in Meyer, along with Lakes Area Youth Assistance, for Shop with the Cop last night in Wixom and Meyer, and 30 youngsters who may not have been blessed with certain resources were certainly blessed last night with gifts, gift cards, and some additional resources from Meyer. So thank you to them. We had a great time. Our sergeant promotional process is down to 2 applicants. Brian Dennis recently lost his mother-in-law, and he has a major renovation going on at his home right now, and he didn't think that he could put his best foot forward and take the time necessary to show his skills and with the written process. So he removed himself from the process, so now we're down to 2. Kristen, Officer Skotsky had her baby, so we are down 25% of our workforce. I tell people that, they're like, wow, how many is that? That's 2. And so we do our best with what we have, and I'm just thankful that if we're going to be down 2 people at this point, that it's going to be their winter time, because things usually kind of slow down for us. So the next couple of months, you might see some stats that are down, traffic stops and some other things, but so far so good right now, so we're looking forward to that. have a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year. And if there's anything we can ever do for you at the agency, at the police department here, stop in, call me, email, text me. I'm available. But been great working with you for 2025. Look forward to 26 with you guys.
Yes, as the administrator stated earlier, the audit is underway, and Raina and I had a full day today, and we're going to be meeting probably next week for another half day at least. And so far, it's going really good. So it's a lot to get through, but we're getting through it, and it's going good for that. And council paychecks will be in your accounts next week, and so I'll be forwarding your pay stubs. I tried to have them in for this week, but it's going to be next week, and I think that's pretty much it. And we'd love to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and Happy Holidays, all the holidays, and I look forward to that. So.
Thank you. Mr. Gillum.
Thank you, Mr. McNutt. Start with a couple positive things. If you recall, at last month's council meeting, we kind of rammed through a kind of last-minute resolution of support for an application for the Detroit Institute of Arts Partners in Public Art Program to potentially get a mural onto the storage/restroom stash concession building out at Clara Miller Park. Well, we made it under the wire. I had a meeting out there last week in the bitter cold with a representative from the Detroit Institute of Arts, and they like the west side of the building. That is the side where the roll down is and where the storage door is, facing to the west, facing towards Benstein, towards the new playground equipment. She felt that would get the most exposure. Next step in the process will be an orientation for me with the DA, probably in January sometime. There will be more or less a subcommittee that will be formed. So if any of you are interested in participating in that, and Pam shut her hand right up. So basically to provide input, to meet the artist after the artist is chosen by the DIA, and then ultimately to provide some feedback on whatever concept or design the artist ends up coming up with. And they have made clear to me that there won't be anything on that building that the village doesn't want to go on the building. So it will ultimately be our decision. So that's a positive. So, we had a little bit of discussion about timing and things like that. And she said, well, if you ever have any big events at the park here that we might be able to use as kind of like an unveiling or a ribbon cutting or something like that. And I said, funny you should mention that. We have this event in September called the Village Festival and Corn Roast. And so she's all about that. So she's kind of penciled that in as a deadline for the project to potentially be complete. So with any luck, we may have a new mural on the west side of the concession building in time for the Corn Roast next year. So, but I'll keep you posted. So.
Hey, cool.
Another piece of I think good news. We can kind of close a long open chapter. Village Attorney Jennifer Orlowski has been very persistent, and we have obtained the necessary signatures on all the documents for the sanitary sewer easement on Ventura. So she'll be working with the attorney that's involved in that to get all the details finalized, but we can hopefully potentially put that issue to rest now. So next, I wanted to talk a little bit about everybody's favorite subject, no, not the snow, but bulk leaf pickup, which one way or another is complete now because of the snow, at least until the spring. But first of all, a representative from Priority Waste stopped in the other day, coincidentally, to see how we were doing. And I made clear to him in no uncertain terms that this was absolutely the worst year that we have had in terms of bulk leaf pickup the entire time that we've had the program, at least the entire time that I've been aware of the program anyway. I explained that we'd had issues with GFL, and I'm going a number of years back, but hands down that this was absolutely the worst year, and it was because of their problems. It wasn't because of our problems. You'll recall that the week that the bulk leaf program was supposed to start, it was on a Monday, and the day that we were supposed to start, before the truck even got here, it broke down. So we lost some time on the very first day of the program. The next day, apparently a large number of priority waste drivers called in sick that day, so we had to wait for one of their supervisors to leave wherever he normally works and come out, and he's the one that actually drove the leaf truck that particular day. Now, we were good for the rest of that week, so we were optimistic starting the second week of leaf pickup. The truck broke down again on Monday. Then they thought they had it fixed. The truck was down again on Tuesday. We didn't see a truck again until the end of the week. So over the course of the first 2 weeks of the LEAF program, we lost 5 days of time, downtime, because of either equipment or labor problems that Priority Waste was having. Now, our goal this year, as in prior years too, is ideally we'd like to have leaf pickup done before Thanksgiving, because that gives us plenty of time to get all the leaves picked up. And then if you use the bulk leaf program, you know that they don't get all the leaves. There are still some leaves that are left roadside that you need to clean up and bag yourself. If we can do it by Thanksgiving, there's typically enough time for the residents to get out and clean up the residue and bag them and get them out to the curb before the last leaf pickup of the year. Yard waste pickup, yeah. So if we were done by Thanksgiving this year, we would have been golden. We would have been in perfect shape. But because of that week that we lost with Priority Waste and some other downtime here and there because of equipment problems they had, but primarily because of those 5 days, what happened? We weren't done by Thanksgiving. And then what happened? We got hit with a snowfall over Thanksgiving weekend. And now we got another 5 or 6 inches today of very wet, heavy snow. So it's all on priority. It was a problem this year. We've already had discussions internally, and I think we'll be having more discussions at this table, probably at our goal-setting session in February, and definitely as we go through the budget process for next year. But I really think that we need to take a hard look at all of our alternatives in terms of bulk leaf pickup here in the village. Now, the contract we have with Priority requires them to provide the bulk leaf service in October and November. So technically, we really couldn't make any changes without getting them to sign off, without potentially being at risk of breaching our contract. I haven't talked to anybody about Priority yet because I would want to talk to council first about it, but my gut feeling is that Priority would probably be happy to wash their hands of bulk leaf pickup here in the village. I got a feeling it's almost as much of a nuisance for them as it is for us in the office upstairs when they're having all these problems. But be that as it said, we need to look at all of our options, and just to roll through them real quickly so everybody is clear on it, we could try to maintain status quo. We can give Priority the benefit of the doubt and try to rely upon them for bulk leaf pickup next year. We could potentially look at sending out an RFP and finding another contractor to do the same job that might be more reliable, more dependable, and who knows, maybe less expensive. I don't know, but money has never really been the issue. The problem has been getting them out to do what they're supposed to do. So a third option, which we hear from residents periodically about and we have for the last couple of years, is the idea of the village actually going out and purchasing equipment, a big leaf vacuum, where we would have our employees driving a leaf vacuum around and then picking up the leaves that are deposited curbside by the residents. That sounds simple and it sounds like it might be an easy answer, but it really isn't. And again, we can talk more about this in the future, but number one, that equipment is very, very expensive. In addition to having the actual mechanism to suck up the leaves, you need to have trailers to shoot the leaves into after you pick them up. So above and beyond that, with expensive equipment like that, you need to worry about maintenance of the equipment. So then we'd have to think about what the cost is going to be in terms of maintaining it. Above and beyond that, this isn't equipment that we would just put in the parking lot out here. We would have to have somewhere to store it. And so probably what that would mean is probably having to take down the salt shed and move it, but in some way or another expanding the DPW garage to allow for a couple big pieces of equipment to be inside out of the elements over the course of the year. So we're talking about some expense in terms of construction costs and things like that. There are some operational costs that go along with that too, because right now we have one employee that we commit to the leaf program on any given day. And that's the one employee that drives the backhoe that has the tank claw connected to it. It picks up the leaves that are out at the curb and then dumps them in the back of the leaf truck. If we had one of these large leaf vacuums or leaf suckers, as I understand, I think you need to have 2 people doing that at any given time. So that means we're going to have twice the amount of manpower committed.
Plus, you also have to have somebody that has driving a trailer truck or something to deposit the leaves in.
Yeah.
Because one person has to operate the truck with the PTO, the other one is actually operating the suction boom, and then you have another full person for the deposit of the leaves and something.
So it might even be 3. So you might effectively be taking all of our DPW, with the exception of the maintenance leader, out of action for 2 weeks every fall. So then what happens if you get a water main break or if a tree falls down or something like that? So anyway, so there are operational issues that we'll have to address as well as that. Someone had asked, when we were talking in-house, if it would be possible for us to maybe just lease equipment like that for a couple weeks every year. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's something we can look into while we're having the discussion. That wouldn't be free, that's for sure. But that's something we could also look into.
You know what our neighbors are doing?
Commerce Township does, the leaf pickup is entirely the responsibility of the residents. Wixom, I believe, has its own leaf equipment. But keep in mind too that Wixom is a little bit different community because they're a little bit more developed in the sense that they have a lot of curb and gutter. And it's a lot easier to operate one of the leaf vacuums where you have curb and gutter as opposed to just open ditch like we do. Not to say that you couldn't do it, as I understand, but, and keep in mind too that Wixom's situation is a little bit different. Their tax base
Oh, yeah.
is significantly more than ours. They could afford some of the costs a lot better than we can for this kind of an operation.
Well, we're just thinking maybe tag it along with another community. You know, like, I used to know people that had their own jet. I mean, and they would just fly whatever they wanted to. And then they said, well, this is getting kind of expensive because we had the jet and you got to pay the pilot and you got to do this and do that. And so they got rid of that and went into a fractional ownership. So I guess that's where I was thinking that it's not something you're going to use every day, obviously, equipment-wise. So if there was another community where you could get into like a fractional ownership type of situation.
Something we could look into. The practical problem is, though, that generally speaking, if you shared ownership in a piece of equipment with somebody else, they're probably going to be wanting using the same equipment at the exact same time that you do. Leaves fall everywhere around here pretty much
do
at
you
the
use
same
it,
time.
8 hours a day, 5 days a week? Is that how often they're here?
4 days a week? Do they do it?
No, they should be,
5 days,
ideally,
5
they're
days,
working
yeah.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
For basically for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Under the system. Now, I don't know, maybe one of the others, these other pieces of equipment would be faster. I don't know. So, but that's something else we can look into. So, but the other option is like, and I'm not throwing Commerce under the bus, but like they do, and I think there are other communities who do the same thing too. We can just no longer offer the service to the residents. We are not in any way required or obligated to provide bulk leaf pickup to our residents. And if council decides that it's in the village's best interest, then we can make it the residents' responsibility. And how they would deal with it would really be up to them. They can basically bag all their leaves and get them to curbside for a weekly pickup. They could hire their own contractor. They could do their own composting, all the different options. But that's an option we have, is just to say, you know what, this no longer works for the village. As I understand, this is a service that the village started to offer a number of years ago, primarily in response to the fact that the state came out and said, you can't burn your leaves anymore. So we offered this as an alternative. And if it's not working for us anymore, then, maybe it's just not a service that we want to offer anymore. And there would be a reduction in the residents' trash pickup fees if we did that. So anyway, a lot of options. I think we're going to need to look at all of them. I think we're going to have to get a lot of input from council as we're looking at it, but we need to do something different. This just is not working for us. And we're going to have to decide by the time we approve a budget next year as to what we want to be doing next fall. Next, just a quick comment. The chief and I had the opportunity yesterday morning to stop over at John Marasco's house and see how the sergeant was doing. He did start his most recent round of chemotherapy last Thursday morning. And from what he had indicated to us is he's doing better with each progressive round. He's knowing more what to expect. And I think the medical professionals that are treating him are hearing what his issues are, and they're trying to get out in front on those issues. So, for example, he said yesterday that with his first couple of rounds of treatment, they found that his potassium levels have been real low after he underwent the treatment. So what are they doing now? They're giving him something to supplement his potassium before he comes in for the next round. So it's by no means a picnic or a cakewalk, but he's continuing to try to power through it as best as he can. And he specifically wanted me to tell everybody on council, everybody here at the village, that he and his family are very thankful for all the support and thoughts and prayers that everybody has offered for them up to this point. And me speaking now, not John, but I think hopefully we'll all continue to offer those same thoughts and prayers to John going forward. So, and on that note, the only other thing I would say is I hope everyone has very happy holidays with you and your family. I think those of us that work and live here in the village have a lot to be thankful for. I think a lot of times we take those things for granted. We complain or worry about things that we really don't need to complain or worry about. The problems we have, I'm sure there are a lot of other people that would be happy to trade their problems for ours. So just keep that in mind, but have a happy holiday. Thank you. Thank you, David.
Council comments. Mr. Pam?
Thank you. I think the biggest update I have is Aaron and I were involved in Taste of Lakes activity today where they did, we had a board meeting, first of all, and I just want to say that it's an update. They did collect, or they did make $28,500 at Taste of Lakes this year, so they did very well. And next year it's going to be 25 years they've been doing it. I can't believe it's been that long. So it was like an adopted child or adopted family, and there were 103 kids that Leah was involved in adopting. And basically, they went to Huron Valley, took hospital, took, how many was it? 42 children. And some of these families had 2 kids, 3 kids. There was one family, I think they had 4 children. I was blown away at the generosity of the people that worked at that hospital. There were bikes. There was a gift certificate for 3 bikes for $500. It was these huge bags full of clothes, toys, Legos. And then Leah, I think, solicits local companies like our dear friend, Mr. Spencer, who seems to donate a lot of money and things back to the community, to sponsor some of the other children. It was very humbling to, I don't want to steal Erin's thunder, but she took a bike out this one moment and she started crying. She was so thankful. So anyway, in that, and I guess last week, a couple of the Leah executives or how do I want to say here? Officers, okay, did show up at Commerce Township. Commerce Township, up until today or last week, did not contribute any money to Leah. And there sounds like there's some internal confusion over there in Commerce. So anyway, so a couple of the officers went and had a meeting with them and explained everything that Leah does and showed them how many pieces of information, emails, letters they had sent them and they said they never got. So anyway, to make a long story short, they did have a meeting last night and they did decide that they would continue to fund Leah. So that was really encouraging. Other than that, I just also want to wish everybody a very happy and joyful and family holiday, Christmas holiday, and New Year.
Perfect. So as Pam mentioned earlier today, we were involved in the Lakes Area Youth Assistance Adopt a Child program, where grateful families benefited from the important work that Leah does and from the many donors at Huron Valley Hospital that generously supported this event with their time and donations. Regarding our yard waste ordinance, I'd like to see us update the November rules to allow residents to leave yard bags at their property line any day, reducing inconvenience to them. So I would move that we adopt this change for future years for the month of November. And I have additional comments, but I'll hold for now.
Oh, I did want to say that Commerce Shop with a Hero in Meyer is next week. Are you showing up for that?
I don't think we've been invited. I haven't heard about that. We know we participated in one with Wixom in Meyer, many agencies, but I have not.
Commerce one's next week, next Tuesday.
So is that a motion to?
Yeah, I think
change the
it's
ordinance?
just important that we
November?
recognize that resident that came up, and I mean, I would agree with it too, that to have our residents moving yard waste bags when we have mountains of leaves literally in the road for the month of November, I mean, why wouldn't we allow them to neatly bag their leaves and leave them at their property line throughout the month of November? So I'd like to make a motion that we adopt that ordinance for the month of November moving forward.
I'll second. So what do we need to do to
I agree.
amend that ordinance to?
We'd have to look to see exactly where in the ordinance that provides. Yeah, that may just be,
A contract
yeah.
term with priority. So it will depend. If it's set, if it's spelled out in your.
No, just for the residents to be allowed to leave their yard waste at the edge of their property without getting cited by our code enforcement officer.
Yeah, like the one gentleman who raked his yard and had his leaves at the end of his driveway
Yeah, okay.
before Friday or Saturday, before Saturday, he got cited by the
Okay.
code officer for them being out there.
Right.
So I think what the intention is to, when residents bag their leaves up, they can set them at the curb
Okay.
as they bag them. Without being,
Well, let us work on that.
Okay.
We've got some time to figure out the best way to do it. But,
Perfect.
I mean, and that is something that after that particular meeting, I did talk with Bill Wazinski with the code officer about. And he and I concluded, yeah, that was, given the circumstances, that wasn't something that we were going to be enforcing for the rest of the month. We didn't, so.
so we do have a motion and a second, though.
Shouldn't the motion be that the administrator reviews it and then brings it back to council as opposed to trying to take
Yeah, I mean, you'd need an ordinance amendment anyways
right.
to introduce. You couldn't just make that change
Right.
without an ordinance to introduce and adopt. So I don't,
You want to
maybe,
withdraw your motion? Can amend, or?
I'll just amend it that we have our village administrator look into the verbiage and what needs to be done to have that updated.
Okay, a motion and a second for Mr. Gillum to look into the ordinance for the leaves. Any other discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right.
Reflecting on my first year as a council member, thank you to the residents for your trust. I've listened to many concerns and aimed to represent you well. I encourage more participation in meetings and correspondence in 2026 and beyond. Thank you to all of our village board volunteers that put in countless hours of their time to make our community a great place to live. And finally, my thoughts continue to be with Sergeant Marasco and his family, and I wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday season.
Perfect, thank you.
All right.
As always, it's been a great year. Let's have a good one, even better year next year. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Look forward to working with you next year.
Just happy holidays, everyone, and see you next year.
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, and anybody that's thinking of going on the ice, be careful.
Still some great Park and Rec events going on this month. Don't forget the Next with Santa, the PB&J Drive, and the decorating contest. And I'd like to thank Mr. Kale for coming out today. He came out, he talked to council, and council did something. And I wish more people would come to the council meetings rather than just post things on Facebook and hope that by magic it'll get fixed. We do want to respond, we do want to answer, we do want to be effective. We need you to come out here and be a part of that. And wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and stay warm.
Just thank you to all the people that make the village a great place. And so all you guys up here putting your time in, all the volunteers, thank you guys very much for that. And Sergeant Marasco's family, keep going, John. And Merry Christmas and safe and Happy New Year.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?